In April 2020, at the height of the COVID-19 outbreak, we ran a design sprint at Sheba Medical Center. This is a full story and the outcomes. Israel's Sheba Medical Center ranks 9th in the world in Newsweek prestigious list. It's a huge facility and its innovation lab runs more than 40 machine learning research projects. Sheba was in the midst of a war, and as part of their strategy, they installed status dashboards in the corona departments, showing them the current patient stats and available resources. A lot of data was coming in, and the machine learning team was working on prediction models that will help doctors assess possible deterioration of patients based on different measurements, background illnesses, and the progress of the diseases. What we offered is to help them find out how to integrate these predictive models into the doctor's day-to-day routine. This is not a simple UX task, as doctors are very busy and overloaded and are very suspicious of technologies that try to be predictive. Also, machine learning algorithms needs training, and we needed doctors to cooperate and give us input. Natalie, the head of the AI hub at Sheba's Innovation Center, ARC, wanted more. She was looking to use the situation and the change of atmosphere to get a better understanding of how these type of models should be integrated. She wanted to come out with a great process that will ensure cooperation and real impact for these type of projects. We also had two big barriers. One, this had to be a remote sprint for obvious reasons. And two, there was no way we could get the entire team's attention, including doctors, for our regular full 2 days workshop. But we wanted to make an impact, and we did not want this to become a long process. We wanted the sprint so results are relevant. To overcome this, we did a few shifts in the process. First, we made one-on-one interviews with as many people as we could get, especially senior doctors that were willing to give us their mind. To prepare everybody to the interview and sprint, we sent the interviewees a questionnaire, asking them about the challenges and their long-term goal. Based on the interviews, we prepared the user journey map, and some of the main challenges we got from the users we framed in a how might we question format. Next, we split the workshop into 3 Zoom sessions, 3 hours each. Define a challenge, create multiple solutions, curate and select a solution. The rest of the sprint was carried out internally with scheduled feedback from Sheba's team that included Sigal, a data scientist team manager, Moshe, a doctor, Ruth, a project manager, their COO, Janet, and Natalie. From our team, we had me and Roy, one of our UX designers. Let's dive deep into the process. Session number 1, define the challenge. The first session was focused on defining the challenge. It's all about alignment, making sure we're all on the same page and fully understand what we need to solve. This was a remote sprint, so we used Mural to help us communicate and interact. On Mural, we use a preset template with dedicated spaces to all exercises. We also prepared a personal space for each participant, so we can apply the sprints together alone principle. Step 1, the expert interview. For the expert interview, I diverted a bit from the classic expert interview. I went through the map we drew before the workshop. While I was presenting, I asked the participant to write down on notes the challenges they identify. The format we use for this is the how might we questions. For example, how might we generate trust? How might we get feedback on our predictions? Reframing challenges into this format helps us refine them and standardize them into solvable challenges. After we wrote the challenges, we voted on the most important challenges and got the top 6 challenges that we are facing. Step 2, long-term goal. Usually we ask participants to look 2 years ahead. This time, looking at the time pressure and the uncertainty of reality around us, I asked the participants to look 1 year ahead and think about the most optimistic scenario. Each participant wrote her own 1-year goal on a virtual sticky in her personal space. When time was up, we copied the goals to one place, and each participant read her goal with a short explanation. We had a short virtual vote, 1 vote for each participant, and when done, Natalie chose the following goal. In 1 year, we will have a standard protocol to integrate AI-based tools into the clinical process, enabling us to try new developed models in less than 1 month and make real clinical impact. We now had a better context and a wider challenge, coming up with a standard integration protocol. This also meant that we probably needed to interview doctors from different wards in the hospital, not only corona-related medical staff. Step 3, the sprint questions. After all this positive thinking, we had to start looking at things that may block us. I asked the participants to look at the long-term goal and think of the thing that will stand in our way. I asked them to phrase it in a question starting with the words "can we?" These will become the sprint questions. The thing we want to make sure we can solve by showing a prototype to our users. Each participant wrote their top "can we" questions, and then we voted and decided on the top 4. Usually we stick only to 3, but sometimes we just have more. Here are our sprint questions. Can we encourage the clinical team to give us ongoing feedback? Can we overcome the natural antagonism of different stakeholders? Can we get the clinicians' trust? Can we impact the clinical treatment? Step 4, the user journey map. As we already had the map and went through it, at this point we only needed to put the "how might we" questions on the map as well as the "can we" questions, and ask the decider to select a target audience and a place in the flow to prototype. Natalie chose the doctors and to focus on the use part, when doctors are looking at patients and are making medical decisions. This ended our first session. In record time too. No open discussions, very efficient and focused, without meeting in person. We ended the Zoom meeting with a hand wave and went on with our day. We have our goal, our sprint questions, our target users, and a scope to prototype. Tomorrow, we will create solutions. Session number 2, creating solutions. We knew up front that one of our participants will not be available for the solution sketching part. So I recorded a Loom movie explaining how to run this session and sent it to him. The movie included instructions and some inspiration samples. The rest of the team met on Zoom and we started the solution creation process. Step 1, lightning demos. At the end of the previous session, I have asked all participants to research and bring a few sample solutions that may be relevant to our challenge. I've asked them to look at the "can we" questions and the "how might we" and find samples from different domains solving similar challenges. Each participant wrote the name of the solution and the big idea behind it and got a few minutes to present it. This way, before going into creating our own challenges, we got some inspiration and idea. Interestingly enough, we looked at Netflix for getting user feedback. We looked at digital banking for trust issues and Monday project management for a sense of control. Step 2, note-taking. Now we want to get our brains running. I asked participants to copy the long-term goal, the sprint question, and anything interesting on the board into their pre-prepared A4 papers. I do believe that the writing process makes you think about it and forces you to go back and inhale the alignment we got. I asked them to start and write some notes to themselves and some ideas for a solution. Step 3, doodling. When done noting, I asked the team to start forming up an idea for a solution. I showed them some samples, but they had to do it on their own. This is sometimes a little bit awkward, but I reassured them that this is natural and the process can be trusted. Step 4, crazy 8s. After having a basic concept, we made the team iterate. They folded the paper into 8 parts and I gave them 1 minute each time to think of a different way they could approach their basic solution or alter it. We do that 8 times, and this makes people go beyond their initial ideas into optional solutions. Step 5, 3-part sketching. All participants spent 45 minutes creating a 3-part sketch. We were drawing on A4 with Sharpies and uploaded the results to the mural when done. Then we added a catchy title and notes on each solution to better explain the concept and make it more self-explanatory. By the end of this session, we had 7 different solutions. Session number 3, selecting a solution. In this session, we go over the solutions, understand the core idea and the details, and select 1 or 2 solutions as our prototype base. Step number 1, hit map vote. Each participant went through all the different solutions and used a red circle to point out what they found interesting. Whenever a question arose, the team added a note next to the part of the sketch. By the time we were over, we had a heat map showing us points of interest. Actually, the most important thing in this exercise is that it made us read carefully the solutions while getting a clean first impression. Step number 2, solution presentation. Each participant presented her solution. Normally, the facilitator would do that, but as we did not have enough time to prepare, and unlike face-to-face sprint, it's much more difficult to understand and present another person's solution, we decided the solution presentation will be done by the solution creators. Step number 3, straw poll vote. Each participant got one mural vote to select a winning concept. Once voting was done, each participant explained the reasoning behind their vote. Step number 4, decider vote. Now it was time to make a final call. Natalie had a short discussion and finally voted on a winning solution to work from and asked us to combine it with another complementary concept. Step number 5 is user test flow. In this exercise, we asked participants to take 6 notes and outline the actual screens that we should prototype. Each participant wrote 6 notes representing 6 steps in the user test flow. We all presented our suggestions and voted. Finally, Natalie decided on the winning flow, adding one additional step to fine-tune it. This ended our joint workshop with the Sheba team. Now it was on us to deliver. Session number 4, storyboarding. In many cases, we prefer to do it with our clients. This time, we tried to do it on our own and asked for help when we needed it. Oye and I used the user test flow and the selected concept and laid out wireframes that outlined the prototype functionality. We use Figma as this is the easiest way to do this kind of remote collaborative design work, and once done, we presented it to the team and got some feedback. Session number 5, prototyping. Now that we had all the information and the basic design, Oye took over and created a real-looking prototype. With very little help, he was able to create a real-looking prototype to be presented the day after to the doctors. We had a short handshake with the team to make sure we are all on the same page and we were ready for user testing. Session number 6, user testing. It was quite hard to get the doctor's attention at this time, but the team really helped, and we decided to take our time and did the user interviews over 2 days. We interviewed 6 doctors from different departments and specialities. All of them were specialized doctors with lots of experience, so we got very useful feedback from them. All of them really liked our solution and stated they would be really disappointed if we decide not to do it. This is a great indication that we are offering something of value to our users. The doctors really liked the timeline view with our predictive information. However, we got strong rejections with regards to the system recommendation. The doctors were really concerned about getting treatment recommendations from a machine. They noted that these are very complex issues and therefore suggested recommendations should be more restrained and limited with very restrictive language. They also said that we should minimize and simplify the feedback they are asked to give us as part of the flow, as they will be too busy to cooperate. To sum it up, we got positive answers to our sprint questions and affirmation on our solution. It was a very exciting experience, and this is just the first step with this exciting project. The Sheba team were awesome. We learned a lot, and hopefully we will make a good impact on the way AI is used in the medical sphere. I would love to hear your thoughts about the sprint and any COVID-19 related project you may want to share. In any case, please subscribe to our channel and get more great updates about product, UX, design sprint, and innovation. We will be here next week, so I'll probably see you soon. Bye!